Okay, so this is going to be a really basic tutorial for doing 1-point perspective. Okay, and I'm going to show you some pretty cool things, but pretty basic. Okay, so first thing you want to do when you're doing 1-point perspective is you want to create a horizon line, and that a lot of times is defined sort of where like the sky meets the earth. We're going to use that as eye level, and I'll explain that in a little bit here. And according to the rule of thirds, which is just a compositional trick, we are not going to put it halfway across a page. We're either going to put it 1/3 up or 2/3 up, and in this case, I'm going to do it 1/3 up the page. So note that I'm using a ruler for a lot of this as well. Horizon line goes straight across. I'm doing this with a 2H pencil, so I get a little bit of a lighter line, and I could go back in later for certain lines and darken them with my 6B. And I've also got an eraser handy just to kind of clean things up. So I've got my horizon line in. Then I'm going to create one vanishing point, hence the 1-point perspective. And that's going to be either 1/3 or 2/3 across the page. Again, not in the center. We're following the rule of thirds. So about a third over, it's right about here. This is my vanishing point. Okay, now what I need to do with 1-point perspective is create the flat face of a shape, which is going to become a form. Okay, so with that, I'm just going to create like a square or a rectangle. Just do like a rectangular object right over here. Okay, so there's my object, and I got a little bit of smudges. Kind of clean that up. So at any rate, now that I've got my face of my object, the flat face on, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect all of the corner points back to the vanishing point, like this. I'm going to do it with a dotted line. All right, so now sometimes you may not want to connect this point here because it actually passes through the object, and these go past the object. But I'm going to do this just so I can show you how you can do a shape that's like see-through. So now that I've got those dotted lines set up there, I'm going to choose how deep I want the object to be extruded. The closer I go to the vanishing point, the longer the object will be. The closer I go to the front face, the more shallow or narrow the object will be. So I'm going to choose a point about, I'm just going to go down to right here, and I want my object to be about that thick. Okay, I choose a point on this line, and these diagonal lines are referred to as orthogonal lines, and I'm going to just drop that line, drop a line straight down to this orthogonal line. Okay, now it's either straight up and down your page, perpendicular to the horizon line, or more importantly, parallel to this shape, this line here, which I'll explain a little bit later. So then from that point, I'm going to go straight across until I hit that orthogonal line. Then I can go straight across from here and hit that back orthogonal line, which could have been not drawn, but we're going to do a see-through object. Then I'm going to go from that line straight down to here. And that's basically our object. Now I'm going to take my 6B pencil, and I'm going to go through, and I'm just going to really loosely and roughly darken these in. Okay, so that's our object. It's in perspective. Now note these dotted lines here. I can go back in and I can erase those. Those are really just guidelines. Okay, now I have created an object that's like see-through, as if it were like glass or something like that. And if I wanted to make it into a solid, I would just erase the lines that go inside of it. So for example, this line wouldn't be visible because it would be obscured by the bottom face. This line wouldn't be visible because it would be obscured by the front. And this line by the left face. Okay, so this would be, go and firm that up a little bit. that'd be like a solid object there. So now I'm going to draw another shape really quickly, and I'll explain in a minute some of the cool things that are happening. Again, starting off with just a flat face. Okay, so now I've got another object drawn in 1-point perspective, and something that's really cool that's happening is that if it's to the left of the vanishing point, as this object is, I see the right side of that object. If it's to the right side of the vanishing point, I see the left side of that object. This is a little bit different than when we were all in grade school, and we all kind of learned how to do little cubes, like so. We all learned how to do this in maybe 3rd grade or something. And we can draw a bunch of these little 3D forms. But regardless of what's going on with these 3D forms and where they're placed on the page, we're always seeing the right side of them, on the top side of them. Okay, with perspective, it's totally different. It takes into account not just a 3D form, but a 3D space entirely, and that allows you to see either side of these objects, and some cool stuff starts happening. I'm going to show you one more thing now. Okay, so now with this object, it's below our horizon line. Okay, and objects that are below the horizon line, we see the top of. Objects that are above the horizon line, we see the bottom of, right? So again, horizon line represents eye level. So I've got a person here, and it's their eye level. Now, if I draw a person that's the same height, who's about 1 inch tall, and they're up here, then they're flying in the air. If I draw a person who's the same height down here, they appear to be closer to us and very, very short. Okay, so that's sort of one of the tricky things with perspective. Now, if I draw a person here that's bigger, this person's probably about the same size as this person, but they're a lot closer to us. Okay, so just keep in mind this is eye level. If something's above your eye level, you're seeing the bottom of it, it's in the air. If it's below eye level, you're seeing the top of it, and it's on the ground. Now, one more thing that I got to show you really quick. If something is on directly below the vanishing point, you only get to see the top and the front, or if it were above, the bottom and the front, because it's like right in front of us. And if it's on the horizon line, a similar thing happens. You see the front and one side of it. Okay, so this is basically, again, just a really quick and dirty explanation of how to do 1-point perspective. Keep in mind, you're starting off with a flat surface first, and then drawing from all the corners back to your vanishing point. Everything is governed by that vanishing point. Don't create another vanishing point, and keep in mind that eye level. Thanks for watching.